We are back here in HPL. We saw Neiera take a 2-1 lead over Purple, and man, have his Q's been great so far in this match. That Face Hunter mix-up right into a Freeze Mage deck has really got Purple reeling.
Yeah, been going back and forth on his strategies. Queued up Priest in game one. I think a little bit targeted there. Purple was playing Sunwalker and Kel'Thuzad in his Paladin deck, so certainly a favorable matchup for him. But like you said, Neiera swapping over to Hunter at the right time and then going directly to Freeze Mage. Very opposite ends of the spectrum that he's been playing so far, and it looks like it's keeping Purple on the back foot.
Yeah, where does Purple go from here? We're going to have to find out. Game 4 between Neiera and Purple. Neiera is on match point here. Purple has to win this game to go to game 5, and this is what I was about to allude to. I got to believe Purple is going back to his bread and butter, the Rogue deck.
Yeah, we see this time and again when players are on the back foot, they'll go with their comfort strategies. Neiera kind of recognizing this a little bit too. However, he is playing the Grim Patron version of Warrior. Typically something that you'll see in this matchup is the Warrior getting at such a high life total that it doesn't have any single way for the Rogue to actually reach its damage cap. But in this matchup, not quite as much armor as you'd have. He does have Shield Slam, so this does indicate something like Shield Block in his deck as well. But Shield Maiden, a very integral part to that strategy. It's a minion that can't be sapped, so it takes away a lot of the tempo from Rogue, but at the same time, you're getting that extra life total there, so it's going to be interesting to see how Purple chooses to tackle this matchup.
Yeah, and great opening hand from Neiera here as well. He's got almost all the pieces that he could ask for, plus an Emperor Thaurissan help make everything cheap. We might be seeing a turn 7 or 8, just gigantic board from here in this game.
Yeah, we might. He's got, like you said, Emperor Thaurissan already in this hand. He's got Warsong Commander, Grim Patron, and Cruel Taskmaster. If he can pick up a Whirlwind effect, this game is going to be looking fantastic for Neiera.
Yeah, he just picked up a Battle Rage. That's going to help a ton over the next couple turns, and you're going to see him actually draw a bunch of cards here this turn. He's going to draw 3 extra cards here this turn with the Cruel Taskmaster and the Battle Rage just churning through his deck. And you know what? He just picked up Deathspite. That is a Whirlwind effect for later in this game.
There's that Whirlwind effect we were talking about. Purple got a nice response to this, though. He's going to be able to SI7 agent this and use his life total a little bit with that Deadly Poison. But I have to believe Neirea is getting the better of this right now. Drawn so many cards already.
Yeah, getting to, you'll probably see him just do something like Deathspite here and attack his SI agent, set up a big Deathspite turn next turn. Or maybe just get an Emperor Thaurissan in play, don't use his weapon, hold back the Whirlwind effect off of his Deathspite, and then have a huge turn 7.
Yeah, so Pilot Shredder going to be the play. Great threat versus Deathspite. Important that it comes out second as well, so that way the minion that drops off of it doesn't take any damage. The Death Rattles are going to trigger in the order that they entered the board. So, Neirea's turn here looking absolutely fantastic. I have to believe this is Emperor Thaurissan.
Yeah, I got to believe it's going to be Emperor Thaurissan as well, and you've seen it just be so good for him here already in this match. It was great out of... I was going to say, it was really good out of the Freeze Mage deck.
Well, Shield Slam is a pretty darn good pickup from that Shield Block. Doesn't have to use his Deathspite on this. Oh, look at that. Doesn't have to do anything, actually. He's done no fear of the 2-1 minion in his spot.
Yeah, no fear of the 2-1. It's actually just going to get swept up in the Whirlwind effect off the Deathspite whenever he chooses to attack with it, and that's a good minion to attack with a Deathspite.
Yeah, Azure Drake, one of the best ones you can have, and this turn is going to be a matter of exactly how much pressure.
Oh, Whirlwind's picked up as well. Jeez.
Get together.
Just got all of it.
Yeah, at this point, free to use that Deathspite. He does have that Whirlwind effect, and it's going to cost 0 mana after this Emperor Thaurissan hits play. So he's done a fantastic job controlling this board. The fact that he's drawn all these cards and giving him all these options, the Emperor's such a big ramp play here. Purple in dire straits as this match moves forward here. Does pick up a Tinker Sharp Sword Oil, so... gonna use, try to utilize his Span Knives. Good to get that in before his opponent has Grim Patrons on board. It's the last thing you want to be doing is giving them more threats. And just gonna go with Ursaring Farseer here. Has to get something out.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you get a 3-power minion out as well. You don't want to give him extra fuel for his Grim Patrons here as well.
Yep. Largely the reason why he's not utilizing that Blood Mage quite yet. Probably wants to couple it with something like Blade Flurry.
And Neirea's just going to develop his board a little more, churn through his deck a little bit more, just keep the board clear, draw some extra cards, gain a little bit of extra life. We've said this a bunch of times with the Rogue deck. If you leave them a minion in play for more than a turn, it usually spells disaster for you. They can have some gigantic turns with Tinker Sharp Sword Oil.
Yeah, even going to start swinging with his Fiery Vorax. That is 6 points of damage for 1 mana. So trying to squeeze in as much as he can now and really put Purple to the test. And Purple does not have enough damage to really get this ball rolling here. Something like an Emperor Thaurissan would have been great for him. We don't necessarily know if that's in his deck or not, though. So seeing where he goes forward from this turn, because this is an absolute critical one for him. He's got to find a way to get some pressure out. And Lotheb is going to shut off that Whirlwind. It's going to shut off Executes as well. This is pretty much the turn he was looking for. This will also allow him to get a fresh dagger, so we can couple that with 2 Tinker Sharp Sword Oils. This might be the window of opportunity for Purple.
Yeah, this is the turn he needed to try to turn around the corner here.
Wow, there actually is Shield Maiden here. Neiera, he's done a fantastic job of queuing up as well. You know, we talked about how well Purple's been queuing up, but Neiera, you know, after he realized in that first game that he was going to be targeted, he just went the next step on that one. He said, you know what? If you're going to mix it up and kind of play some weird builds and stuff, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Shield Maiden completely unexpected in this build.
Yeah, you have to believe Neiera had a plan coming into this match, and you're seeing him execute it well here, and you're seeing him get out to a 2-1 lead. So you're seeing his plan come to fruition here. Now you're going to see him take a ton of damage here to execute and attack this Lotheb here and get in a little damage. He's hoping to just stem the tide here for a turn and not die behind this Lotheb. The Lotheb was very good for Purple. It allowed him to get a lot of initiative in this game, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it too much. Neiera was able to stem that just enough.
Yeah, so just going to have to sprint here. I imagine he's looking for preparation to combo all these Tinker Sharp Sword Oils and the Blade Flurry off as well. But if he sprints in this spot, that's actually going to burn a card, so he will have to pitch something from his hand in order to do that. So he's just going to turn up the heat and get aggressive this turn. 2 Tinker Sharp Sword Oils. This is a lot of damage coming into Neirea's side of the board now. So if he can't actually kill Purple in this next turn, he could potentially be dead, because that is a massive amount of damage.
Yeah, Purple swinging for 15 damage here and putting Neirea down to 8. Both of his threats are technically lethal here.
Wow, that is a huge draw at this point. So let's count the amount of damage he has now. If he can play Grim Patron and use Cruel Taskmaster, that's gonna, and then couple that with the Whirlwind, that's gonna give him 4 Grim Patrons afterwards. So that's 12 power plus the extra 2 from Cruel Taskmaster. That's 14 plus 2 more from the Cruel Taskmaster getting charged off that Warsong Commander. I mean, that's not enough damage to kill Purple this turn. So he's got to figure out some way to actually stay alive too.
Yeah, he actually has to figure out a way to stay alive here, because Purple, you got to believe, has a way to deal 7. He only has 7 damage, but you have to believe that he has another way to deal a ton of damage here. He's had a lot of cards in his hand over the span of this game, and you're going to see Neirea be a little defensive and gain a ton of life here this turn, an extra 7 armor.
Yeah, Purple needs something massive going this turn. He does have Blade Flurry to clear out this board position, so will live a little bit longer. Deadly Poison, not quite enough yet, but I mean, with a second Blade Flurry in hand, this could potentially be disastrous for Neirea.
Yeah, you're going to see Blade Flurry take care of this. And you know what? I like this from Purple. He's going to get the Blood Mage Blade. Just get the extra damage from your Blade Flurry here.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Well, actually, this is lethal, actually. He has enough to cast everything and use double Blade Flurry. So he's got the Poison to attack for 3 now, and then he has the Blade Flurry for 4 damage afterwards.
Wow.
Wow, that Deadly Poison draw was actually lethal from Purple. Wow, excellent stuff from him. I did not spot that extra point of damage coming from the second Blade Flurry there, but Purple did. Man, what a massive amount of damage he was able to deal with Southsea Deckhand and the 2 Tinker Sharp Sword Oils. This is something that you see from Purple a lot. He's going to play decks that try to keep control over the board, but then also have massive burst combos towards the end. So he'll pick up, that's where you see from his minion kills. You know, he gets about to like the 6 or 7 mark and then tries to kill you. He's not worried about going to the longest point of the game and relying on gigantic minions to get the job done. He wants combos of burst damage. That's exactly what you saw in that game. Despite the fact that Neirea was able to shield block and shield Maiden, which is not what you expect, that led Purple to still win that game. And I think a lot of that is because Neirea chose to answer that Lotheb with his life total instead of answering it with the cards he had.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. Another interesting play for me was earlier in the game when Neirea was a little more defensive, and I think I would have liked him to be. I need to go back and watch the game, and you know, we all do. But there was a couple turns where Neirea was very defensive. On turn 6, he didn't play his Emperor Thorson, which would have allowed him to possibly combo out the next turn, and then he never really had a turn to combo off and make a bunch of Grim Patrons against Purple, and it allowed him to build up a board state to get in enough damage to get that win here.
Yeah, very clear that Neirea was looking for something like Frothing Berserker to try to get it all done in one swing instead of trying to push in some damage and then push in more later on. So if you want to check out the recap from this game, you can do that. Head over to pvplive.net, see the full stats breakdowns and everything these guys did in that game, as well as their full competitive histories, their strategies, and how they play them. When we come back, it is Game 5, Neirea versus Purple. Both of these guys undefeated so far here in HPL, but one of them is going to have to be taking a loss home. The other one, he's moving on to 3-0 so far in the league. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.